Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to My Opinion Matters. I'm Burke.
I'm Bird.
And my opinion matters.
You've said that now twice. I think you really
I have some opinions.
Okay.
And they matter.
Well, first, let's outline what these opinions are about. What is
Fair.
the show about today, Jamie?
My opinions on Dark Crystal's prequel.
The Age of Resistance.
The Age of Resistance. Thanks for the help there. I couldn't think of it.
Anytime that I remember. No guarantees in the future.
There you go. So this came out a little bit ago. Second season is confirmed. So that's pretty awesome.
I'm excited.
Most people I've talked to seem to like this first season. This will be on just the first 5 episodes.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about our main character, Rianne. What do you think about Rianne?
Initially, I was very underwhelmed.
Okay.
You know from the blue hair that he's going to be your main guy because he looks different.
He's got protagonist hair.
I actually remember watching the extra features on the extended Lord of the Rings, and there was an interview with the costumer, and she was talking about how she would do various things to highlight the main characters. So ever since then, I've always
kept an eye out for it.
Yeah. And initially, he struck me as a very adolescent brat, and I don't like that.
Yeah. I spent a decent amount of time trying to figure out how old he was supposed to be. Because the thing is, he's old enough to be in the military.
Sure.
Right? I mean, a medieval military, but a military nonetheless. But he does act very childish. So I'm thinking probably 16 to, like, at the most 20, or whatever the equivalent would be for Gelflings. I guess we don't actually know how long the life cycle of a Gelfling is, but, kind of that late adolescence, undeathable, I know better than the rest of the world phase of life.
But still angsty. Not that early 20s where you're starting to grow into yourself and still think you're better than everybody else. But very much more he probably listens to My Chemical Romance.
Yep. Yeah, I could see that. Still kind of has...
Maybe a little Green Day.
Yeah, still has but I want more. I've got to go prove myself. I'm a warrior. Now is the time to seize the day.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to sing a song about it, just impromptu in the middle of the courtyard. He doesn't sing a song about it.
No, he should.
He seems a bit like a Disney princess.
Toss a sword to your Gelfling, a valley of...
Swords!
Swords!
So I think Rianne grows on you a little bit as it goes forward.
I agree.
You do meet him in kind of a bratty place. I did think it was cool that he already has a love interest at the beginning of the story. Obviously, this is so she can die and,
of course,
provide motivation for the rest of the story. But
I did think Mira or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's Mira.
She was a very cute addition. She wasn't. I mean, she was built to be a throwaway character, but despite that, she was able to do her job well.
Yeah, I liked her. So that's pretty cool. Our other main characters. Let's start Deet. What did you think of Deet?
Deet is the reason I made it through the show.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big Deet fan. If
Nice.
I was 15, I'd probably have Deet wallpaper on my phone, on my laptop.
Nice little Deet tattoo.
I don't think I'd be that. Maybe, well, I can't go there. That's a spoiler. There is a version of Deet later on I might have gotten a tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it. Oh, it'd make a good tattoo, too.
Oh, it would, if it's done well.
We will come back to that.
You'll have to tune in next time to hear our comments on that.
Indeed.
Don't you mean indeed?
Indeed. I'm going to start using that, indeed. But yeah, I like Deet. She's got kind of the innocent girl vibe going on. What's nice is that she doesn't know the customs of the upper world, so she can kind of be a point of view character because as she's learning the audience is learning
Yeah.
about customs and stuff. Kind of provides the window into the world
Yeah.
for the watchers, which is cool. And then our last of the big three, Brea, the bookworm. What'd you think of Brea?
You go first.
That good, huh? So I like Brea when she's with her sisters. I think that's where
Okay.
her character work shines.
Okay.
Honestly, I like Celadon better. I think it would have been a better story if Celadon had been in that role. But I do think
In the bookworm role?
No, not in the bookworm role, but in kind of as part of that main trinity of characters.
Oh, so you would swap the Brea and Celadon roles in the story?
Yeah. I think that would be cool. I understand why they didn't do that, because,
How would that even look?
Rianne's already got the warrior thing, and he needs to prove himself, so
Yeah.
having another proven warrior in the cast, or in that main party, maybe isn't the best idea, but I just enjoyed Celadon's character more.
I can see that argument as it relates to Tavra, but not particularly to Celadon.
You are exactly right. I got the names backwards.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I was just thinking, wait a minute.
Celadon's the career politician.
Traitor.
She's the
right.
career politician. Speaking of politicians,
Speaking of politicians.
I know one. Actually, I more than one, but one of them in particular mentioned a really funny thing about this, and it he couldn't make it past the first 2 or 3 episodes because it reminded him too much of work. Specifically, the scenes with the Skeksis reminded him too much of his coworker.
That is amazing.
I don't really know why, but I will leave your imagination to fill that in.
And now a dramatic reenactment of our government. The hunt must not end. The opposite of end. The hunt is immortal. I am immortal.
Calm down.
Speaking of
Chamberlain.
What did you think of Chamberlain?
If Deet was not in the big 3, Chamberlain would be my favorite.
Yeah. I think Chamberlain's really cool. He kind of taps into that Smeagol vibe.
He
little
does,
bit.
but a very intelligent and cunning Smeagol.
Oh, yeah. No, he's Slytherin all the way.
Very
Super
much so.
cunning.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
We'll talk later.
Yeah. Does this have to do with the Longbottom Boys?
It does have to do with the Longbottom Boys. Stay
Okay.
tuned for the Longbottom Boys, which is my new comedy band. We're starting a new genre. It's
All
called
right.
Hogwarts Metal. And we have a song about what house every Skeksis would be in. So, coming soon to iTunes near you.
I'm not editing that out. You just
Oh, yes,
backed yourself
promises
into a
have been
corner.
made now.
Okay. That's,
Has
and
to be done.
I'm guessing you're going to conscript me for this as well.
Yes, I think so.
All right. Hogwarts Metal.
Hogwarts Metal, it's a thing. But anyway, so the Skeksis are kind of my favorite part. And we'll wait for the second half to talk more about some of their really cool stuff. But my favorite Skeksis is actually the scientist, Skektek.
That name is perfect. Skektek.
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
easy to say.
And brought to life brilliantly by the one and only Mark Hamill.
That's Mark Hamill.
That is Mark Hamill doing...
I thought I recognized the voice.
Yeah, it's like an old man version of his Joker voice, and it is amazing. Couldn't wait for Skektek to get back on screen every time. Loved him. So that's pretty cool. So those are kind of the main characters. How do you feel about the world, the story, through the first 5 episodes? Did it reel you in? I know you said you had a hard time kind of locking in for the first couple.
I think the main reason I had such trouble locking in is because I was unfamiliar with the world.
Yeah.
With something, even going back to Hogwarts, which I've never read the books, I saw only one of the movies.
We'll fix that.
People talk about it enough that I feel like I have somewhat of a grasp on what kind of world that would be. There seems to be a common link between things like that, Game of Thrones, Hunger Games, Lord of the Rings. Like there's a consistent theme for how things work. This is not like that. It was initially difficult for me to wrap my head around what was going on.
Yeah.
And it actually did, in a positive way, force me to think about myself and my own personality in a way that I hadn't before, and examine myself a bit emotionally around certain issues.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I know you wanted to talk about the tech versus nature and the magic thing. And that was the big area where it really forced me to confront some areas in myself, because I started getting really emotionally invested in the nature side of as the conflict is set up. It's essentially nature versus technology. And I started getting really invested in the characters on the nature side. And overall, how I've lived to this point has, I wouldn't say, been hateful of nature by any means. It didn't occur to me much. I was the kind of guy who, if it was convenient to recycle, maybe I'd recycle, kind of a thing. But I wouldn't go out of my way to sort bottles and take things down to a recycling center instead of a dump. I would probably guess that's pretty average.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's most of, middle America.
Yeah. And as I get more invested in specifically Dee, and she has this love for nature and stuff, it's like, that's different.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. And actually, I had to take about 5 or 6 days off from watching it to really just sit down.
Just chew on it,
write in a journal, take some walks, and just think. And any TV series that can get me to be self-reflective and examine how I'm doing things, especially from a fantasy background, is an excellent TV series.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, it sounds like you actually got a whole lot out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I did not have quite that same transformative effect,
Yeah.
But I really like the show. I think it's got a lot of really cool themes in it. One of the main conflicts, like you say, does seem to be technology versus nature, right? The Skeksis, everything they do is technology driven, which leads me to the theory that I think they might actually be aliens in this world.
Okay. Isn't that explicitly stated?
They
came from another place to Thra?
Yes.
And then they give Mother Agra this planetarium thing where she can go among the stars.
Yeah. I don't know if it's explicitly stated, though, because here's the thing. We're going to learn some stuff later that makes me think they might have just appeared on Thra at some point.
But appeared from where?
Exactly. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But
we are leaving so many cliffhangers for people here.
But it does seem, I do think I fall on the side that they're aliens. I think there's two options, but I do think they're aliens. They know a lot about space, and space doesn't really play a role other than with Agra. And we know the Skeksis have the knowledge of it. They're the only ones we see using high technology, kind of in place of nature magic. They will occasionally try to harness the raw energy of nature magic, but they won't just cast spells. They don't do that.
They don't have access to the dream world.
No, they don't, which seems to indicate that maybe they are extraterrestrial. They are not of this world. And it's kind of an interesting idea. It's almost like an Ancient Aliens kind of thing, right? Here are beings that live for, we don't even know how long. I mean, they haven't died. Or when they do, it's a big deal. At
this point, they've all been alive for 1,000 trine, which I think is like a year?
I think it's a year, yeah. Extremely long lifespans. So they are at least artificially immortal, and they have technology, and it kind of made me think, what would you do if you were artificially immortal, you get sent back in time with an understanding of technology and stuff? you would almost naturally start to run everything.
Yep.
You would naturally be in the position that the Skeksis are because you have all the technology. You are kind of a vessel for history. You're connected to every point in history in a way that other people aren't.
Yeah.
If you have lived all of history and you're not just this little blip that learns about, all these world wars and the Crusades and everything from books, if you were there, you would naturally kind of run the world.
That would be really, yeah.
Even if it wasn't your explicit goal to run the world, it would make the most sense.
It would.
So
kind of makes you think differently about whether you take it literally or not is a different question, but the lifespans in the early Bible, where these guys are living for like 960 years. Like, what do you do for 960 years?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Dude, I get bored after like 960 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's a very natural progression of the situation that they're in. I was watching this with my wife, and one of her questions was, why are the bad guys in charge and nobody else sees it or anything?
Right.
It's like, well, that is naturally where they would fall. Mm-hmm. They're immortal. They are functionally immortal.
Right.
They're naturally going to be smarter than everybody.
Yep.
They will be the ones that have formed every diplomatic alliance with anybody, and they're friends you want to have, and they will naturally just kind of climb up the chain and outlast everyone else in power. Yeah. How are you going to rise up and surpass what they've been able to accomplish in hundreds of your lifetimes? They're going to be able to build an empire that isn't going to be easily toppled.
Yeah. It's definitely a narrative on a cultural level that we see playing out today, where there's so much that comes from tradition.
Yeah.
That a lot of people are trying to kind of throw off and, okay, that's great. We got here, yay. What if we don't want to live like that anymore? So it's definitely an interesting narrative, and there are some very key correlations to the way the world works nowadays, which is very interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Jim Henson definitely has something to say about that.
Yeah.
Whether or not this is actually Jim Henson, I know it's his company. I don't know if he wrote the script.
No, it was written by somebody with something to say and, a eye for world building, which I think was really cool. It's a world that makes sense, even though it's brought to life by puppets.
Yes.
Which is cool.
That I do want to touch on real quick since you brought it up. That was one of the best things I've noticed in regard to this world, this series. Initially, when you brought up the idea to review this particular series, you brought up that there was puppets.
Yeah.
And I think my face did something like,
really? Puppets?
Yeah. I remember thinking, my God, Jamie, you are such a nerd. You are such puppets. You're 30. Puppets. Come on.
Come on, dude.
But they did a good job. The cinematography, great. The special effects, great. They didn't sacrifice what you would expect from a relatively large budget series for the sake of the puppets. And I guess that's what I was worried about, was that everything would be like animatronics or something. And it's just like, okay, modern claymation, really?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. If you can't tell, I'm not a fan of claymation. But
oh, I'm not either. I hate stop motion stuff. It creeps me out.
It
creeps me out to no end.
Yep. I'm right there with you. But that's what I was afraid of. And my goodness, this blows that out of the water. So if you haven't been watching this because you're afraid of puppets, do what I did and just get a friend like Jamie and have him talk you into it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We're good at that.
And then do a review on it, and maybe we'll see that and come like it. Meanwhile, why don't you like, subscribe, and comment with your favorite part of the first 5 episodes of
Age of Resistance. I remembered it this
Hey, there
time.
you go.
Nice.
Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
Dark
I didn't
Crystal's
remember it.
Age of Resistance. Indeed.
Faked you out. That's not the end of the episode.
No.
We got a lot more.
We've still got more to talk about. I've got notes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. So, something kind of interesting that I just want to touch on real quick because it geeks me out. There are convergently evolving hive minds on this world.
What
That
do you
is
mean
so
by
cool.
convergently evolving hive minds?
Okay, so let's explain what convergent evolution is real
Okay.
quick. So convergent evolution is where certain traits will develop into unrelated life forms, right?
Can you give a real life example?
So a real life example would be kind of the dreadnought design that we see in a bottlenose dolphin, okay?
Okay.
It's a mammal adaptation, right, that is designed for speed in the water. But we see something called an ichthyosaur that developed the same body design, but it's a reptile, and it developed it
Interesting.
millions of years apart. And it's an entirely different animal that evolves into this body design, right?
Right.
Because the body design will have success. You see the same thing with giraffes and several long-necked animals from history, but I mean, most notably, you've got your sauropods, right? These are animals that evolve long necks to take advantage of food sources that other animals can't.
I see.
So they kind of have their own niche, and they access energy that nobody else can in the food chain.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's why you would evolve something, but convergent evolution just means that two completely different organisms will evolve the same trait because it's advantageous to
Right,
do
okay.
so.
Okay.
So in this case, hive minds. We have convergently evolved hive minds on this planet, and I think
Okay.
that's really cool. We see the Arathans, which are a hive mind, the spider race. Now, I don't know why hive minds would be advantageous to, spiders, but apparently it is.
It reminds me of, do you remember in Naruto Shippuden where we first get introduced to Pain's,
Oh,
his thing, the Rinnegan, where
Yeah.
when other people have it, all of them can see through everybody's eyes?
Yeah.
It reminded me of that a lot.
Oh, well, there you go.
I could see how that would be advantageous given sufficient intelligence.
Yeah, so you're able to spread information much quicker.
Right.
Right? And that's actually what we see the Gelflings start to do. I think that the dream space and what was their mind meld called? Dream fasting.
Dream fasting.
Dream fasting.
Yes.
I think
Which does
this
not
is-
involve not eating food, thank goodness.
Yeah, but I think dream fasting is them evolving a hive mind at some point. It's more primitive than the Arathan hive mind because it's not always on. They have to kind of manually activate it, and it's got some drawbacks, For example, if I give you memories, you can't pass on those memories further.
I like that though, because it retains the individuality of the person.
Yeah.
With something like the Aratham, you get this, and we'll get into it more later, but like, where does one end and another begin?
Exactly.
There's just different nodes of physical existence for this nebulous single mind. Whereas something like the Dream Fast allows you to more accurately communicate with someone.
Yeah.
But they're my memories. It's like DRM, right? They're still mine. Even if I've shared them with you, you can't go off and pirate my memories.
Sure,
And then
sure.
make whatever they use for money off of my memories.
There you go.
Now, it would be interesting to see what happens. And I actually thought it was in there, but I might be wrong. I might have just been brainstorming as I was watching it. But
It's a show that'll make you do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
what happens if the originator of the thought or memory dies? So, for instance, if...
So can you carry on the memory, or does it get kind of deleted from your mind?
So, like, if you remember that one Disney movie, Coco?
Yeah.
How if you were to, like, learn about someone in the land of the dead and then come back to the land of the living, if that person, like, you can't keep that person alive by your memories, you have to have firsthand knowledge of it.
Sure.
So, like,
sure.
in this world, would there be something like that where, like, if Mira shared something with Rianne prior to episode 1 and then she gets zapped, and does Rianne just lose that? And if so, what would that feel like? Would it feel like a part of you getting ripped
Would
out
you
as well?
know that
Right.
you've lost memories?
Right.
Oh, that would be torture.
Like, would you sit there and if the nerve is a road, does it just, like, stop? Does it just run out and you go like, I don't remember there being a dead end here, huh? Or would you have an instinct like, no, I know I've been over there, but I can't get there anymore. There's this giant chasm. What the heck happened?
Yeah, how can I get access to these memories again? Clearly something has happened.
Right. And beyond that, if it were the second one, the chasm-y thing, you'd probably see an evolution where you'd be able to intuit when someone actually did die. Because there would be this just gaping like, ugh.
Oh, and that'd be terrifying because you wouldn't necessarily know
who
died.
or why.
Or
how, like,
crazy.
We may have come up with our own
It's an
mini
interesting
screenplay.
theory. It's an interesting layer to the world for sure. But yeah, so I think the story, it starts out a little bit slow, but it gets going. I think there's enough character work to keep you pretty hooked in. Let's go ahead and hand out some awards here. Favorite character from the first 5 episodes? Deet. Okay.
You?
Skektek. I
Okay.
love Skektek.
Do you ever-
I'm actually pretty surprised you didn't go with the Hunter. I'll be honest. I thought for sure he was going to get your best character.
Really?
Yeah,
I guess I'm more of a softie than you gave me credit for.
I guess so.
Runner-ups.
Runner-ups. Runner-ups. I think Tavera.
Okay.
I needed a second there to not call her Celadon again. I do like Tavera a lot, and I like the interactions between the sisters. I think those are cool.
Okay.
Who's your runner-up?
Chamberlain. What's his actual Skek name?
Skeksil.
Skeksil. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
He is wonderful. I love the way his mind works. Mm-hmm. He has like a well-written, well-developed villain written all over him.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent job.
Nice.
Props
Okay.
to the writers.
Worst character? Hup. Your time has come.
Your time is Hup.
Yes, your time is Hup. I hate Hup so much. He's like the beaten stepchild of Jar Jar Binks. I cannot stand Hup. I can't do it. Can't do it. This guy is so bigoted, he just distrusts everybody, and he tries to fight with a spoon, and that's dumb because here's the thing. Even though it's puppets, the world works logically, right?
Except for Hup.
Except for Hup. Hup is the only part where I remembered that I was watching puppets.
What's wrong with puppets?
And that is true. You forget you're watching puppets after a while until Hup comes back on the screen. I can't do it. I can't do Hup. I hate Hup so much. Can't do it. Your turn.
I can't follow that. Are you kidding me? That was such a glorious rant. That deserves right there. You got it. You win.
Okay, I win. Scientifically proven right here for your eyes today, Hup is the worst character ever. Okay, last award. What is your favorite line from the first 5? Do you have one?
And in case you're wondering, that is not me wondering. That is my favorite line.
Yeah, it's so iconic too. Yeah. Chamberlain, I forget the actor, but Chamberlain's actor, fantastic job. All right.
Golf clap.
Yours? Indeed. My favorite line was, "It's easy to have nothing when no one depends on you." That is such a true statement.
Or should I say, I can't do it now. It might be because of the monitoring. I can't actually.
Yeah, can't get in the right mindset.
No, I can't do it. All right, sorry.
That's okay. We'll work on it for you.
Yeah. But yes, it's easy to have nothing when no one depends on you. Mm-hmm. Or I could do it even more dramatically.
Let's see it.
What's the line?
It's easy to have nothing
when no one depends on you.
dun, 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 dun. Well, I'm a long bottom boy and I can't. I don't know.